Welcome to the Biopharma Business Intelligence Unit, where symbolic integrity meets strategic clarity. At BBIU, we go beyond the headlines to decode the structural forces behind global biopharma, AI, and economic realignment. If you value precision, verification, and symbolic depth, this channel is for you. Subscribe now to access our weekly briefings, dossiers, and intelligence reports, and consider joining our institutional tier to unlock early warning systems, custom metrics, and exclusive strategic insight. You're not just listening, you're entering the future of epistemic intelligence. www.biopharmabusinessintelligenceunit.com.
South Korea's $350 billion dilemma between IMF diplomacy and Trump's upfront ultimatum. Executive summary. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Yun-cheol openly admitted in Washington during the IMF and G20 meetings that South Korea cannot meet the United States' demand for a $350 billion upfront payment as part of the bilateral trade deal. While Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent acknowledged the impossibility and promised to advocate within the administration, the ultimate decision rests solely with Donald Trump. The scenario exposes a fundamental structural imbalance: Korea's financial impossibility versus Trump's symbolic insistence on upfront, modeled after Japan's July settlement. Negotiations now pivot on whether Washington will accept phased payments, local currency commitments, or commodity swaps. The deadline, the APEC Summit in Gyeongju at the end of October, is accelerating pressure on Seoul. Structured opinion, BBIU analysis. The $350 stalemate with Washington is not a negotiation about tariffs or investment packages. It is a two-stage power play, where timing and sequencing define the outcome. Our previous analyses trace the unfolding arc. Stage 1, symbolic confiscation, September 12. In the SPC trap, Korea's $350 billion negotiation with the U.S., we highlighted how Channel A's leak reframed the demand as a U.S.-controlled SPC requiring a $350 cash deposit. Whether technically accurate or not, this symbolized financial confiscation and provided Seoul with political cover to resist. Stage 2, tariff ultimatum, September 13. In South Korea's tariff gamble, between post-election machete and Japan-style capitulation, Secretary Howard Rutnick escalated publicly, declaring Korea must mirror Japan's MOU or face 25% tariffs. This was no longer about trade balance, but capital extraction through tariff leverage. Stage 3. Silent resistance, September 15. In Korea's $350 billion negotiation stalemate with the U.S., Lee's silent resistance, we analyzed how President Lee Jae-myung shifted to deliberate delay, declaring irrational agreements will never be signed. This was not a negotiation tactic, but a survival strategy: postponement at the cost of growing isolation. Stage 4. Diplomatic admission, October 16 to 17. Finally, in South Korea's $350 dilemma between IMF diplomacy and Trump's upfront ultimatum, Deputy PM Yun-cheol admitted openly in Washington that the $350 billion upfront is impossible. Treasury Secretary Bessent understands, but the decision rests with Trump alone. This crystallizes the architecture of power. Ministers negotiate reality, Trump dictates symbolism. Two-stage strategy Congress. First, Trump's immediate objective is the midterm elections. Any premature deal with Korea would dilute his narrative of toughness. He gains more by keeping the dispute open, showcasing Seoul as the resistant outlier compared to Japan and Europe. Only if electoral numbers collapse would he seek a cosmetic pre-midterm deal. Korea. After once congressional ground is secured, Trump can take the bull by the horns. With Congress as his shield, he will convert symbolic threats into binding extraction. Fragmented investments, selective tariffs, and invisible levers, visa downgrades, IMF ratings pressure, investment freezes. Implications for Seoul: delay strengthens Trump, not Korea. What today seems tactical resistance will tomorrow be judged as strategic entrapment. For investors, pre-midterms: symbolic escalation, tariffs at 25%, uncertainty priced in. Post-midterms: if Trump consolidates Congress, expect accelerated extraction under harsher terms. Final judgment. The $350 billion is not an economic sum, it is a test of subordination. Our sequence of articles makes this clear. The SPC trap revealed confiscation logic, tariff gamble showed public ultimatum, silent resistance exposed Lee's fragile delay. IMF diplomacy versus upfront ultimatum confirmed the impossibility but left Trump with the veto. The outcome is predetermined. Korea will pay, not in cash alone, but in sovereignty, credibility, and industrial autonomy. The true question is when and under what humiliating terms. You've reached the end of the open section of this BBIU content. The complete analysis, with full data, structural frameworks, and extended annexes, is available exclusively to our subscribers. At BBIU, we believe the real value lies beyond headlines, in the depth of structural intelligence that helps leaders and organizations see further. If you want access to the complete archive and future reports, join us at BBIU and take part in the next level of analysis.